Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Unfiltered Feed. Today, it's a special podcast where it's both me and Ved. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the newly announced schedule of the Indian cricket team for the next approximately 6 to 7 months. And I just said that it's the schedule of Indian cricket team. So that means we are going to hear a lot from Ved, which is why I did the intro. So now over to Ved.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see a large number of games scheduled for India, and a lot of different teams will be benefiting from India visiting them, or they visiting India, whatever. And I think before we dive deep into this, I have to credit the BCCI because they always do think in the long term with such decisions and scheduling such tours, because they also know the kind of power they hold in terms of just generating money for these boards. And I hardly see them back out of such opportunities to generate income for smaller boards, so I would like to applaud them for that. So let us talk about this busy Indian schedule. So this is just for the till the end of 2026, and
Yeah.
we've got a lot of games coming up. So it all begins in June, I think 6th of June, when Afghanistan will tour India for 3 ODIs and 1 test. And the test match is in Mulanpur, if I'm not wrong. And that is where I take back a bit of my applause for BCCI because it's a horrible place to play a test match in June, considering the temperatures will be around 45 degrees at that time, and you might have to take multiple drinks breaks and all of that. Though it's Afghanistan, so you don't expect a 5-day test there, but still. So you'll have 3 ODIs and 1 test. Of course, the ODIs will be the highlight of this tour because the test match is not a part of WTC. So you'll see Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli in action. That is what the whole of India wants to see at this point. And then after that tour, India will be going to England, and on the way they'll make a short trip to Ireland, which is interesting because they will play just one series there. That is what has been told to me. That they will play just one series. It is either T20s or ODIs. They are contemplating on that.
Okay.
And from what I have heard, they wanted ODIs because they wanted Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli to come to Ireland, because of course that will generate them more income in terms of the crowd pull. But if they are to rest Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli for that series, then Ireland don't see a point in playing the ODIs. So they clearly are not interested in preparing for the World Cup. They just want to see Rohit and Virat. So if they are to rest, then they want a 3-match T20 series. So it is yet to be decided. So there will be one white ball series over there, and then we go to England at the start of July for 3 ODIs and 5 T20Is. So that is kind of the marquee series, 8 white ball games, and that will end in probably towards the end of July, and then we go to Sri Lanka. So we don't come back home directly, we go to Sri Lanka for 2 test matches, which is a part of WTC, and that is probably one of the most important series of the year. And then we also have agreed to play 3 T20Is versus them as a fundraiser for the flood that hit Sri Lanka last year in November. So a year later we will generate funds for that. And then we go to the UAE for 3 T20Is versus Afghanistan, which they don't want to play in India, so they want another series at a different time, and we will go to fulfill their demand to the UAE. So till then, it is pretty much all of these tours are confirmed. So do you think this is a large volume of cricket to be played in such a short period, considering the Afghanistan series will end by August end? So not a lot of time, just within 3 months you have all of these matches.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of cricket, but the good thing is, at least in India, we do have separate squads for a lot of the formats. For example, I think in the ODI setup, you have players like Kohli, Rohit, maybe even Yashasvi Jaiswal now, Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul, who only play ODIs. And likewise in T20s as well, you have a squad that only plays T20s. So I'm assuming that these players will, you know, they not all of them will be playing cricket continuously. You'll have different bunch of players playing cricket at different times, which is why I think it looks more busy than it is actually going to be for these players.
Yeah, at an individual level, you're right, they won't be busy all the time. But Indian cricket as a whole and Gambhir and his
And
Gundas
you
will be busy throughout.
and us fans as well.
Yeah, our channel will be benefiting a lot. And then we go into September where India are scheduled to tour Bangladesh for 3 ODIs and 3 T20Is.
Yeah.
But of course, you never know if that series will go on. They have had a history of political differences,
Yeah.
so that is subject to government clearance. But for the time being, it is scheduled. So those 3 ODIs and 3 T20Is will be there, and then India will go to Zimbabwe for 3 T20Is. I'm pretty sure you won't get to see any of our top level cricketers go to that tour
Yeah.
because it is pointless at this point. Of majorly, if you have the Bangladesh series go ahead, then it's going to be a lot of cricket in a short time interval. So I don't think that will happen. Uh, but
What are
then,
the odds? I'm sorry. What are the odds of seeing a Vaibhav Suryavanshi debut against Zimbabwe?
yeah, that is what I was coming to because you've got so many games where you would want to rest your main players. You might potentially see him play in one of the T20 series,
Yeah.
either versus as early as the Ireland series, or maybe even in Zimbabwe or Bangladesh, or even Afghanistan and UAE. You never know. It all
Yeah.
depends on the kind of season he has this IPL because
Correct.
IPL seems to have a lot of impact. So after that, you have got the home season, of course, which is versus West Indies. Just one series for this time frame. You've got 3 ODIs and 5 T20Is at home. So that is going to be another set of white ball games. And during which you also have a separate Indian team go to Japan for the Asian Games. So that will be played in T20 format as well. So that is where you'll see probably a best of IPL 11 kind of feature over there, like it did in 2023 when the main team was busy with, of course, the World Cup at home, and you had a team of Jaiswal, Tilak Varma, and I think Shivam Dubey. All of those go
Yeah.
over there. Ruturaj Gaikwad led them to a gold. So they are the defending gold medalists. So a lot at stake over there as well. And then after the West Indies series, you have the big series, which is an away series to New Zealand in October, where you'll play 5 T20Is, 5 ODIs, and 2 tests. So a lot of cricket over there as well. And this was supposed to be a 3 match ODI series, but New Zealand cricket asked BCCI to extend the ODI series to a 5 match ODI series. And you know why? Because they want more money, and ODIs are where the money is at right now in terms of Indian cricket because of the two superstars, of course.
Yeah.
And then after that series ends in November, towards the end of November, you have got another series at home, which is versus Sri Lanka again. This time 3 ODIs and 3 T20Is at home in December to round off a mega year for Indian cricket. So the total confirmed games as of today are 17 ODIs, 24 T20Is, and 5 tests. And this does not include the Bangladesh series the Ireland series and of course the Asian Games. So if you add the 3 ODIs, 3 T20s from Bangladesh, and 3 games from the Ireland series, whether ODIs or T20s, that makes up for a bumper cricket season for India. So let me get to the important part here, because ODI World Cup is going to be uh, the one which will be getting more importance. So
Yeah.
ODIs, the value has increased, but I wanted to ask you, do you think ODIs are seeing a sudden surge because of the World Cup or because of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli? And I want an honest answer from you.
The honest answer is I don't know because I'm not aware of the ODI schedule outside of India. But I'm very sure that Indian teams are playing more ODIs because they want to see Virat and Rohit in action. And wherever India goes, the opposition team is also, as said, I think New Zealand, they're encouraging more ODIs because they want to see Rohit and Virat so that they get a lot of money from the extra crowd. So when it comes to Indian cricket, yes, they're pushing ODIs because of Virat and Rohit, and that's a good thing because prior to their retirement, I think ODI cricket was on the downwards trajectory. It still is, but I think this situation has at least steadied it a bit, where people are looking forward to watching ODI cricket. But I'm not sure how many of those are watching purely for the format versus for Rohit and Virat. But I think a question for you is what's the situation elsewhere in other countries like Australia, England, South Africa, etc.
Yeah, so gradually as the World Cup nears, you will see an increase in ODI cricket. But for the time being, I haven't really seen anything change in world cricket, because T20s are easier to coordinate, easier to kind of arrange, and also the fans still show more interest in T20s than ODIs. So I think for the lesser nations, or with nations with lesser money to spare, they would definitely still prefer T20 cricket. But eventually, maybe from the start of next year, you will see an increase in ODI cricket, which
Yeah.
again bodes well for teams in terms of their preparation for World Cup, and also for someone like India, maybe, who will again get a lot more requests from across the world to play ODI cricket, and that will help. The fans will benefit because they get to see their favorite players, but also Indian team as a whole will benefit because they get to play more ODI cricket. Because if you remember, before the last World Cup, you didn't really have much ODI cricket there, and you could see that in the World Cup as well. Teams were struggling to kind of pace their innings properly. You had teams like England who constantly got bowled out in 30 overs, 35 overs.
Yeah.
So if they play more cricket this time and prioritize their preparations, you might see a more competitive World Cup as a whole, which is also a positive. And so I think that will be a major difference. You had a lot of people like, if I had to quote K. Srinivas Rao, one of the reputed journalists from India, he did mention that 2023 will 100% be the final World Cup in ODI cricket. And here we are, before 2027, and the hype seems to be even more than the last time. So, of course, ODI World Cup has always been the cash cow for ICC and the broadcasters. So I'm expecting nothing different this time.
Yeah, I think I would like to continue, Mr. I forgot his name, but the journalist, what was his name?
K. Srinivas Rao.
Yeah, I would like to continue K. Srinivas Rao's claim by saying that the next World Cup in 2027 will be the last World Cup because I think in 2023, had India won that World Cup, I think that would have been the last one because Rohit and Virat would have retired, and then I don't think you would have had the same hype. But I think after this World Cup, even if India lose, it's 100% their last World Cup. And after that, I think 4 years is going to be a very long period. So I think 2027 will be the last World Cup.
So what you're saying is Rohit and Virat are carrying ODI cricket across the globe at the moment, and the moment they retire, you think that the global interest will dip, or the lack of Indian fans will automatically kill ODI cricket.
It's not just Rohit and Virat. I think the players from that generation, so players like maybe Joe Root, players like I'm not sure, but maybe Josh Butler, Johnny Bairstow, maybe they're still playing ODI cricket. A few South Africans as well. I think these are the last bunch of ODI cricketers who actually respected the format, because the modern players usually just try to use the T20 template into ODI cricket, which is why I think the fans have lost interest, because if they can watch the same type of cricket being played in T20s, why would they watch the same match for 8 hours instead of 4 hours? So I think as these players leave the sport, uh, it will be very weird, because you never know, these new generation of players, they might do something great to revive ODI cricket, but I don't see that happening. I think they'll still have the Champions Trophy, but I think that should be the only ODI event, and you might have an additional T20 event that they might bring later on.
Yeah, so maybe something that they did for the women's cricket, which is introducing the T20 Champions Trophy, you might see that here as well. With
Yeah.
the expansion of the T20 World Cup to now 20 teams, I think there's enough differentiation between those two formats. So that can happen. But at the moment, I think it is fair to say that the Indian fans are most attracted to one day internationals because of the presence of Rohit and
Yeah.
Virat.
So
And
I think before we move on, just one question for you. You call yourself a die-hard Indian cricket fan, but from the perspective of an average cricket fan, do you think their interest will go down the moment Rohit and Virat leave the sport? And even for you personally, would you still continue watching ODI cricket with the same passion once you get a new generation of players?
I think that is a very good question because I personally am guilty of watching particularly Virat Kohli. I don't uh, care much about Rohit Sharma, to be honest. I like to see him, but it's not that it is a do or die situation for me with respect to Rohit Sharma. But
Yeah.
Virat Kohli, I do like to watch him in ODI cricket, and I can say that he is one of the reasons why I woke up at 3 o'clock to watch India play ODI cricket against South Africa. And considering that was 2 months before a T20 World Cup, pretty inconsequential ODI series, but I still did wake up. I think that has to do with the fact that they were playing the series. And with me being a proper cricket fan and still having that pull, I think the average cricket fan in India definitely has that. And you can see that because India is known to kind of have their cricket revolve around a couple of superstars. If you see, you hardly see anyone appreciate actual cricket moments, but they seem to appreciate the players more in general. It's not a problem, it's just their trait. And I think that has trickled down into the current generation as well. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, definitely. In the future, I don't see that happening at such a large scale, but at the moment, you will definitely see a lot less interest in cricket in general when Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli do eventually retire. It happens with every cycle of superstars. You had a lot of people who stopped watching cricket after Sachin retired, after MS retired, and the same phase will hit Indian cricket yet again. But the next generation, I don't see that happening anymore because you will see individual superstars like Shubman Gill, maybe Rishabh Pant, but you won't have that kind of a attachment because the way people consume cricket has changed a lot, and you won't have that nostalgic feeling watching them play anymore. And that is why I feel this is the last time you will see such a phase where superstar culture is very prominent in Indian cricket, and I will not see that happening again.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this happened when Sachin Tendulkar was in his last few years, where I think he only played Test cricket for the last few years. Because after he scored his 100th ODI 100, I think he started playing less of ODI cricket as well. And as the
Yeah.
team transitioned. So I was too young back then. But if you're aware, I mean, you were much younger than me. But if you've gone back and seen the numbers, was there a similar attachment towards Sachin where there was surprisingly large number of fans watching every single Test match that he played?
Yeah, I think what I can put together is that when you watch someone since you are young and you grow with them, kind of, and when they retire and you have younger people coming into cricket again, you just feel a bit detached in general because you have grown and you feel that you have kind of outgrown watching cricket because you don't feel like watching the youngsters again. That is what happens with most fans. And Sachin was a even e- elevated version of this because his career lasted for 24 years. You had people literally were born and finished their education by the time he retired. So people kind of evolved with him, and once you reach that high with a certain player and he retires, you kind of don't feel like going back down and starting young. And that is why you see a lot of Sachin fans kind of feel that Indian cricket changed forever with his retirement, even though if you look at numbers, it didn't. You had someone equally able to replace him in Virat Kohli, but of course, those who considered Sachin as the greatest and kind of grew up watching him will never be able to digest the fact that Virat Kohli is still capable enough to handle or lead Indian cricket forward. And the same thing happens every single time. And even if you see now, no one will say that Indian cricket after Virat Kohli is very safe with Shubman Gill, for example, because you kind of feel that Virat Kohli was the best because you have seen him grow and you have grown with him. So that is what happens with fans in general, and that is what I see happening again. But if you see over the past few years, cricket fans have evolved, as I mentioned, so they no longer are proper kids who are watching just TV and growing up. They have access to social media, they indulge in fan wars and online trolling and all of that. So they're quite evolved at a young age. So I don't see people kind of getting attached with Shubman Gill so much that once he retires, they feel disconnected from cricket altogether because they will have evolved by the time Shubman Gill evolves as a cricketer.
Yeah, that's very true. I think one cricketer that I am attached to right now, I would say, is Yashasvi Jaiswal, because I've seen him from the early IPL days and just seeing him grow in Rajasthan Royals first and then in the Indian side. I think he's one player that I would like to have an eye on and see what he becomes if he gets enough games, because that's the biggest issue now. You have so many players that you can't really have one player carrying the side because you have 100 players who can do that. But yeah, this is a very interesting phenomenon. I think, like you mentioned, Rohit and Virat will be probably the last two players, and more so Virat Kohli. I think Rohit Sharma has become very famous only after being the captain, but Virat has been that icon since maybe 2016-17, ever since his prime started. So he'll be that one player who will be missed by almost every single Indian fan now.
Yeah, and I think you will never have a set of fans being emotionally attached to a player like they have been to Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. I know Virat Kohli is completely different. I still don't consider the both to be on the same level. Virat Kohli is just on a separate level because of whatever he has done, and I don't think I need to kind of stress on that fact anymore, because
Yeah,
everyone who know uh, or who have been following cricket for a long time, they know the truth. And Rohit Sharma has been attached with Virat Kohli just because he has done really well as a captain in the last few years, and it's been kind of a trend to club them together because they're the last of their generation. But there is a big difference because the number of centuries Rohit Sharma has, Virat Kohli has those in just one format. So there is a difference in class as well. But I still feel largely these two will be missed, and even though India will keep generating talents as good as them, or in some cases even better, whether or not they fulfill their potential is a different topic. But I'm sure there will be people who will handle and take care of Indian cricket after they're gone.
yeah. I think this podcast went on a different tangent, so it's time to bring it back. So, just to wrap up things, I think let's quickly talk about the number of ODI games that Virat Kohli, let's bring him back, will get to play before a potential retirement after the World Cup. I don't see Kohli having that ambition to play the Olympics in 2028. I don't know if he's even allowed to play. So I'm assuming he would retire after the World Cup. So till then, how many games will we see Kohli play for India and Rohit as well?
Yeah, I think that is a question everyone have on their minds. This year alone, India are kind of confirmed to play 17 ODIs, which is a big number. And then you also might have in up to 3 or 6 more ODIs this year, if
Yeah,
whatever deals are in talk will get finalized. So let us consider it to be 17 for now. And next year, if you consider the World Cup with the new format, you have got two groups of 7 teams each, so 6 group stage games. Then you'll have Super Sixes, so 5 more games. So you've got 11 plus a semi final, which India will make, I'm pretty sure. So 12 games, or let us say 11 confirmed games for now, which will make it. I'm very sorry. Super
28.
8s. It's not
Okay.
Super 12s. So
So then three.
three games there. So that comes down to 9. So you've got 26 confirmed ODIs, and that doesn't include all the series that India will play next year, which I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure India will play at least 5 series before the World Cup next year. So 15 more ODIs. So if you average it out, I would say it's safe to assume India play around 40 ODIs, including the next World Cup.
Yeah, that's very exciting. Plus, I'm pretty sure he's going to play the IPL this year and next year. So that's 2 more months. And you'd never know. He might continue playing IPL for a few more years. But at least 40 days of Kohli and Rohit. And I think there might be plus or minus games. You never know. Kohli might rest, although it's going to be weird because he plays only one format, but you never know. But I think 40 is still quite a lot, and considering the one record that he needs to break is the 100 hundreds, and he needs 50 more hundreds. Sorry, 15 more hundreds, which is a big ask, but you never know. Stranger things have happened in cricket.
Yeah, I think uh, before going live, we were kind of calculating that, where
Yeah,
even at his peak, so-called peak in 2023 is not actually his peak, but the last time he actually dominated ODI cricket, he scored four. He scored 600s in 24 ODIs in 2023, which is still, I think everyone would consider 2023 to be one of his best years, and he scored 100 in every 4 games. So it makes sense to assume that it would be difficult to better that or equal that. So even if he equals that, he will get about 10 hundreds in 40 ODIs, which will mean he will fall short. So it is difficult to score 100 every 2.5 games, but he has done it. He has scored, I think the form he has shown in the South Africa ODI series, he scored 200s and an unbeaten 64 in the 3 games, and against New Zealand he got out on 93 in the first ODI, got 100 in the third ODI. So
Yeah.
he has been in form. But one thing which I don't think anyone is considering is, at this age, injuries can also be a concern. One injury can kind of elongate more than it should, and that can also hamper your uh, form, and you will miss matches if you get injured, but it can also completely change the trajectory of your path towards the World Cup. So that is one thing to consider. Rohit Sharma was in a lot of danger of getting injured at such a high age, at such a age, sorry, with his physique, but he has worked really hard on it, and you can see that hunger in his eyes, because I know he has not actually achieved it, but he has taken supplements, but it's still quite commendable, and to do that at this age and to maintain it. So he seems to be very serious about his fitness.
This time
And
I think he's
Virat
hungry.
Kohli.
He's hungry for runs for a change.
Yeah, and it'll
I'm
be good to
sorry.
see him field for 20 overs as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think the best part for both these players is the IPL because they get 2 months to have some match practice, get back to their match fitness, and then you go on a run of cricket. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come back in the IPL because the last time they played was about 2 months back. So it's been quite a long break for them. So I think for all the fans as well, you should expect some rustiness. Although we said this in the Australia ODIs and they both scored centuries in only their third game. So you never know. These two players are a cut above. At least one of them is a cut above. So let's see how it goes for them.
Yeah, you've had them consistently practicing as well, which is quite good. One in Shivaji Park, the other in Lords. So they haven't stayed away from the action, which is good. And of course, Virat Kohli will probably come to India in a couple of days before the IPL, and he will stay in India for the Afghanistan series. So I'm interested to see how they go, and hopefully India does well, because that is the ultimate goal. You don't want these two to perform and India lose like they did in Australia. So I would have India as favourites if they are in form for the World Cup. I know we have gone a bit too ahead. But I would like to bring it back to someone called Gautam Gambhir, and he did mention something which I found a bit weird after their T20 World Cup win, where he mentioned that India has always been a cricketer loving nation and I want to make it a cricket loving nation. This was one of his statements. It is good, but I don't think he should kind of uh, say such stuff when India have just won a trophy, and how much ever he tries in the upcoming future, I don't see that happening,
Yeah.
because he says that, and the same organization BCCI from the other hand is accepting invitations from other boards to increase series lengths just because of these two superstars. So while he says he wants to end superstar culture, clearly it's not going to happen. So it's good to not kind of target two players that play for him and maybe focus on just saying general stuff. I know he's a bit on the high
Passionate.
tide after the World Cup, and yeah,
Yeah.
he's ever passionate. But I think he should not be consistently repeating himself if his own board is not going to listen anyways.
Yeah, I think such statements are fine when the two players in question are not doing well. But if you look at the last few ODIs, they have been some of the most important players for India. So they are actually carrying this Indian side. Not Rohit Sharma by a lot, but Kohli definitely is. So while they're doing well, I think the ability and the form should be the most important factor when picking a side. But yeah, if things go in a situation where both Rohit and Kohli are not performing and they have not done well for 10 or 20 matches, but they're still in the side because they are Rohit and Kohli, then it's fair for him to say this. But that's clearly not the situation right now. So he can save these remarks for a future uh, interview. But I hope that never happens.
Yeah, that is what everyone dreams of, to end on a high, and
Yeah.
hopefully Rohit, Kohli, and Gambhir will leave the Indian team together after the
Oh.
World Cup win. So that is what I'm praying for. That is what I hope will happen. So I think enough of talks, and let us see what they actually do. Of course, it's still a long time away. All of the games that we mentioned only begin in June, so you still have got a lot of time for that. So until then, I think it is time for us to take a leave.
That's flow mein nikal gaye, but suddenly we are wrapping it up very quickly. We've spoken for 40 minutes on something that's as easy as just announcing the matches. That's only an Indian fan is capable of doing. So, as you said, till then we'll leave and come back with a lot more Formula One and IPL content.
Yeah. So until next time, long live superstar culture.